Hey guys, I'm ZSH Plays and welcome to my new series, Planet Wild. In this series we are not going to be building a zoo. Nope, we are going to create a beautiful natural environment each week and you guys are going to help me choose it. So I'm starting this first episode with one of my absolute favourite environments, a flooded forest. I really hope you enjoy it. Thank you for watching. Let's jump in and start building. Alright, so here we are on the tropical map. We're going to be building what's called a clearwater flooded forest, which occurs in South America, and you get all sorts of wildlife living there: tapirs, caimans, jaguar, various different monkeys. So I said at the start that you guys would be helping me choose, so the way this series is going to work, if you let me know in the comments what sort of habitats, environments that you want to see me attempt to create, and I will pick my favourite, and for the next episode we will make one of those. So let's get started with putting in the permanent waterways in here. So I've dug out the terrain into a series of river systems. These parts that have been lowered would be underwater permanently. That's essentially just the river that runs through this part of the Amazon, and then the areas that haven't been lowered would be above water for maybe 7-8 months a year. It must be a really crazy environment to live in, but I guess if it's a part of life, that's what happens every year, then you have to adapt to that. And you know what they say, life finds a way. So what I'm going to do now is put a glass barrier around the entire map, pretty much. Well, not quite the entire map, but about half the map, so that we can get some water in and get the majority of this covered, so we get the whole flooded forest vibe going on. Alright, so we've got the water in now, covering up most of the land here. I'm going to add a few more bits of land that are actually higher than this water level that we have at the moment. There's not a great deal of land to play with here. It should be quite a lot of land above water and then quite a lot of land below water, essentially. So the way I've done it is I've surrounded the whole area, as you can see here, with these glass barriers, and then dug out the terrain down a couple of meters pretty much throughout, and then way down to 7 meters below the level that you can see here for the rest of it, so we get some proper gradations in the terrain, etc. So let's build up some more terrain and let's put some trees in, and we'll take a look at that. So I thought the key to creating a realistic flooded forest was to create a forest that looked real above ground, and then flood it rather than trying to build it underwater. So I've used all the South American trees and logs, leaf effects and all sorts of stuff, and this jeep that seems to have come a bit of a cropper. And once you add the water in, you get this really nice effect of a flooded forest. So I'm going to use this little scene I've created and the trees, etc., to create a template to use to fill the map, along with lots of adjustments obviously, to create a full flooded forest. Alright, so I've taken the trees that we created in the last little cut there and just copied and pasted them a hell of a lot. So we've got a hell of a lot of land here. If I zoom out, you can see I've covered pretty much everything now. Some of those borders are looking a little rough still, but I'll go back in and fix those in a second. But what we've got is a big old area of land here that we can really work with and turn this into the flooded forest. So the forest is looking good. What I'm doing is taking a few areas that I want to highlight and doing some sort of specific work in those areas so that those places stand out. So one of the things I've done is create what you can see here, which is a bridge. So normally, in normal water level times, this bridge would join this bit of land here with this little bit of land here. So you can see the road coming along here. As we go along here, and we go down here, you can see this little scene that we saw earlier. These leaves look really good underwater, I really like that. And then also we have over here, I've just started work on a little sort of scene with a little tent. It's going to go down onto a beach here. So this area would be underwater the majority of the time, just not as high as it is here. that's what I'm working on now, just highlighting a couple of different places and doing a lot more work on those places so that they really stand out for the final build. But if we zoom out, we can see that there's a lot of this is now completed. I've really concentrated on creating a little area of trees with loads of different trees that are suitable for this Amazon environment, and various other things like the leaf special effects and things that looks good underwater. They're all down at the bottom, so there's no random leaves flying around above water. Before we do any more building though, there's one pretty significant thing missing from this environment, which is the animals. So let's get those added. So there's a few different ways that I could go in regards to adding the animals to this environment, either splitting it up into different habitats for each animal or just making one big habitat. I decided to just go with one massive habitat. It means that you don't have to have any barriers going through the terrain or anything visible like that that's going to spoil the look of it. And also we need to add staff buildings, and again I don't want those spoiling the view or anything like that. You need to hide them somewhere. So what I've done is just on the edge of the forest is add the necessary staff buildings to get this working. We're in sandbox mode obviously, so there's not a huge lot to do, but here they are. So just the trade centre, keeper hut and a staff room with the just the in-game pieces. I've not bothered customising them at all. I put these down here, and then around here we've got the keeper gate, just kind of bizarrely buried in the ground there. Doesn't matter, still works. So all the animals will come into here, into their lovely new home. And then what I've done is, in order to get them into the areas where I want them, all of those areas are full of hidden enrichment items. As soon as I put them into the habitat, the idea is they're basically all going to race towards these two little scenes that I've built and spend most of their time there. But let's move on and make those final adjustments to the little areas that I am going to highlight in this build. Alright, so loads more work has been done, and I think I'm pretty much finished with this now. I'm really happy with how this turned out. I've done a lot more work in the campsite area here, and also if you're wanting to do something like this yourself, just a word of warning, filling half a map with water in Planet Zoo is not good. It's really struggling. The frame rate's okay now, but it takes so long after you load the save for it to sort of calm down and be happy to deal with stuff like this. But yeah, I've added loads more detail into this little campsite here. Done some more work on the other few areas that we're highlighting throughout the environment that we've created. I've got all the animals in. I think we've got about 50 animals in here now. Cuvier's dwarf caiman, giant otters, Baird's tapirs, and a jaguar in, which is pretty much the wildlife that you would see here in terms of what we have available in Planet Zoo. Obviously there's a whole load of other animals that I would have here if I could. Mainly fish. You get some massive fish in the Amazon. I was kind of tempted to download a mod, but I decided not to. I've never used mods in any of my series, and I think I want to keep it that way just because that's the way that Frontier intended the game, and that is the way the majority of people play the game. So I thought, to be inclusive, that would be the way I would stay here. I kind of like my series to be the way that if you like it and you wanted to build it yourself or build a better version of it yourself, then you could do without having to download mods or do anything else. But yeah, I'm really happy with this. I'm so pleased with how it's turned out. I'm really getting the flooded forest vibe that I was going for. I'm going to finish this off and then jump into some cinematics, and we will take a look at the finished biome with animals, etc. Ooh mama. I really like this. I think it looks really good. It looks good above water, and it looks good below water. When the animals come in, wow. I think this might immediately be my favourite thing I've ever built. Probably shouldn't say wow whilst watching something that I've created though, so apologies for that. It's really cool to see a natural environment created in Planet Zoo rather than a zoo or a safari park. I love the tapirs just wandering around through this empty campsite, just minding their own, doing their own thing. And these little guys are just so cool, swimming about in the flooded forest. I'd be really interested in knowing what you guys think of it and whether you enjoyed it. It's very different to my usual series, obviously, but I thought it'd be cool to do. Well, firstly, I just really wanted to build some natural environments rather than a zoo for a change. And I just thought it'd be interesting as well, seeing as there's a lot less building going on. It's much more terrain work and trees, etc. It'd be interesting to try and do a video with no speed builds in it, which has proved quite tricky, to be honest. I think having speed builds gives you a real structure to your video. Nice intro, speed build, nice cinematics. See you later, job done. Whereas I had to think about this one a lot more. So let me know what you think of it and whether you think I've succeeded or not. Any suggestions for improvements at all, obviously let me know. And of course, let me know what habitat you want me to tackle next. This series won't be every week, I very much doubt. This was a fairly simple environment to create. There's a lot more complex ones out there. So, as I said last week, Tekton Zoo will be out every other Saturday from now on. And then this series will be occasional. I'd love it to be every other Saturday as well, so there's one every week, but I'm not sure I'll manage that. But I will definitely see you next Saturday for Tekton Zoo episode 21. Thank you so much for watching, as always guys. I really appreciate your views and your comments. If this is the first video of mine you've seen, please subscribe and drop me a like so you can see them again in future. And yeah, see you later.